everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today we're going to talk to you about the Sig Sauer P320. This is a 9mm polymer handgun. It's striker fired by Sig Sauer. This one is unique in that it has what they call their modular grip frame. The firearm itself, the actual serialized part, is a chassis that sits inside this frame, and I'll show you that when I take it down, which allows you to buy different color, size grips for it. This particular one is the compact medium grip, and there's an assortment of different sizes and colors you can buy. Plug that firearm in and not have to go through another FFL and pay for an actual another firearm. So let me show you a few things about this. We'll start out with showing that it is clear. It does have a magazine. Let me pull the magazine and show clear again. This comes from Sig Sauer with two 15-round magazines. They are steel magazines, and they do have witness holes. And they're designed to fit flush up inside the grip with a little tang that sticks up that guides them in and makes it fit really nice. So when you grip it, you've got a 3-finger grip on this gun, and it minimizes the likelihood of pinching. A few of the characteristics of this gun: because it is striker fired, it doesn't have an external safety, and it doesn't have a decocker like a lot of the other Sig Sauers. It does have a Picatinny rail, and it does have an ambidextrous slide release, which sticks out a little bit, but it's reasonably flush and unlikely to be caught up in your fingers as you're actually firing if you've got a proper firing grip. But if you need to operate it with your other hand, it's right there. It does come, this particular one has night sights, and they're a 3-dot. And as night sights go, these are fairly easy to pick up and fairly clear. A lot of night sights are very difficult to see during the day, even though they're easy to see at night. Both the front and rear sights are dovetail, and they can be either replaced or adjusted. So let's go ahead and take this down. To start with, we will show clear. To take this down, it works very similar to a lot of the other striker fired guns and a lot of the other SIGs. You lock the slide back, and I left the magazine in on purpose because one thing I did want to show you is they have a safety feature that you can't bring the takedown lever all the way around if there's a magazine in place. You have to remove the magazine. Then you'll be able to rotate the takedown lever all the way forward. Now at this point the slide is under tension, it's under spring tension, so you want to make sure you have a hold of it. I usually just grab it like this, release the slide release, take the slide forward, and it comes right off. Very similar slide to a lot of the other striker fired guns. It does have the striker block safety, and it has a drain hole. To remove the barrel, you remove the captive spring, which is under tension, but it is a captive spring, so it doesn't have a desire to fly apart. It's a dual recoil spring, very similar to the Glocks and a lot of the other ones. Simply lift the barrel up and out, and you have the barrel. The barrel in this one is a 3.9-inch barrel. And I did overlook mentioning a few of the dimensions of the gun. The overall length of the gun when it's assembled is 7.2 inches long, it's 5.3 inches tall, and it's 1.4 inches wide. The gun unloaded weighs about 26 ounces. Now here's one of the things that makes this unique. This chassis in here is the actual firearm, and the serial number is visible from the side right here through a witness hole. So what you can do is, by removing the takedown lever, by pushing it out from this side, so you just give it a little push and pull it through, then using the front guides, lift this up a little bit, bring it forward. And it does take a little bit of wiggling. Now I did do something that I'll show you. It's easy to do. If you lift up on the slide release, it unlocks it, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to put back together. But this is the actual firearm. This is just a plastic hull. You can buy replacements for this for right around $50. in the different styles you want. So you can have subcompact, a full-size grip, full-size gun, whatever you want to do, just by interchanging this with only one of these. So here's your entire operating mechanism for the entire firearm. And this is also corrosion resistant as well. This comes in multiple colors. This happens to be the flat dark earth. So now to reassemble this is fairly simple. You put it back in, hook the trigger down into it, and then kind of wiggle it until you can get it into position to drop down in the back, push it back, and then rock it forward. Now because when I went to release this, when I went to pull this out, I accidentally pulled up on the slide release. What I ended up doing, find my pick, is there is a locking pin right here. Let's kind of, if I can get it to you, see it. This is a beveled pin, and this is what gets pushed back when you pull the takedown lever down to unlock the gun. And this is, of course, moved back forward again. That released. So when I'm going to put this back together, what I'm going to have to do is there's a beveled piece on here, and I'm going to have to use that by turning it so that the bevel faces that bevel that's on the piece, and use it to force it back so that I can then drive the takedown pin back in. Now when you go to put the takedown pin all the way the rest of the way back in, you want to have it back in this position so that it'll go all the way in. So it's because I made that error, you can just work it a little bit to get it, snap it in place, and then put it back in the takedown position. Now, let me show you just how easy it would have been if I hadn't made that mistake. And it's easy to do because the slide release is an easy thing to grab a hold of. But this time I pulled the takedown pin out. Let's pretend I had pulled the chassis out and put it back in. Just line this up, and it slides back in that easy. So as long as you don't accidentally trip that, it's actually really easy to put it back together again. Now, let me go ahead and reassemble the slide. Let's see, and I get to make the mistake on camera and show you, so you don't have to make that mistake. Reassembling, it's fairly straightforward. You put the barrel back in, slide the recoil spring back in, and it's very similar to a lot of the others, where this flared end sits up against the barrel. Slide it in, lock it in place, make sure it's centered, and then line up the guides, pull it all the way back. And when you pull it all the way back, you lock the slide in the open position, push the takedown lever up, unlock the slide, and it's ready to go. You now have a ready to operate firearm. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the trigger pull on this, and this gun was actually lent to us by a local viewer to review on our show, so I don't like to dry fire somebody else's gun. So I've got a magazine that's loaded with snap caps. These are inert dummy bullets, but I'm going to put a round of dummy snap cap in the chamber before I pull the trigger, because this isn't my gun. Now the trigger on this is a very nice trigger. A little bit of take up, short crisp break. I've got several snap caps in here, but everything in this magazine is a snap cap. Short reset, crisp break again. So this has a very nice trigger. Makes it very easy to shoot well, very pleasurable to shoot. Overall, a nice gun. So stay tuned for some more range footage. If you liked our video, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and have a great day. Thank you.
Bye.